Earlier today, Codeberg, a Git source code hosting organization, Codeberg.org, announced a war on right-wing forces. That's their phrasing of it. And they're encouraging their users to do the same. They're encouraging other people to also essentially declare war on those who are right-wing. This is pretty intense. And it all came in response to, and I'm not joking about this, an anonymous piece of spam, a 2-word anonymous piece of spam, which I've got for you in a moment. I'm going to read some of this to you now, because this is Codeberg's announcement that came out today, February 12th, and it's nuts. Quote, this is the headline. We stay strong against hate and hatred. This is from the Codeberg public relations team. Codeberg is currently suffering from hate campaigns due to far-right sources, and so are our users. First and foremost, we apologize for everyone who has recently received a notification email from our system containing offending and potentially traumatizing content. We are working hard on containing the effects on our users and systems. Fighting hate and far-right forces is important to us. Read to the end of this article to learn why. Now, this is Codeberg, Codeberg.org. They host Git, a source code repository system. They're somewhat well known. They're making a name for themselves in the we're not GitHub world, and that's what they do. They provide source code repositories for open source systems, and they are, it's a paid thing. People can pay for an account there and whatnot. They're essentially a business, right? They talk about being a not for profit, but they do accept subscriptions and the like. Now they say what has happened. This is from their post here. In the past days, several projects advocating tolerance and equal rights on Codeberg have been subject to hate attacks, such as massive spam and abusive messages in their issue trackers. We've been monitoring the situation closely and have tried to clean up the content as quickly as possible. Often, content remained available for only a few and up to 30 minutes. Due to constrained personal capacities, some rare cases have remained online for longer. On February 12th, 2025, an abuser has escalated the attacks to the next level. Instead of targeting individual projects, they've started to create abusive content and mention Codeberg users in chunks of 100 each. Depending on the notification settings of users, if you are a user on Codeberg, you can modify in your settings. These generate notification emails that contain a copy of the post that includes your mention. All right, so you guys ready for it? I'm going to show you an uncensored copy of the mention. It has a word, 2 words in it that some people are probably going to be offended by. It just is what it is. I'm showing it to you for journalistic purposes. This is the entire message. I got several copies of this. People were sending this to me like crazy. The 2 words, I'm going to read it to you. Because that's what we do here. This is journalism, and I'm going to read it to you. And it's 2 words. It's all in caps. It's in the subject, and there's no other words related to this message. You ready for it? I'm going to say it, and I'm going to make it very clear here. I am simply reading it. I am not saying this is me saying someone else's words. Here we go. Nigger balls. There we go. I have just said it as there we go. That is the message. That is the far right wing hate campaign that Codeberg is talking about. Nigger balls. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, I don't think people should be spamming people. And I agree. And you should think to yourself, well, maybe you shouldn't say those words all in caps in civilized society. And you know what? Yeah, I agree. What does this have to do with being far right, though? It's 2 words, and I don't really know what's right wing or left wing about either of those words. There's no call to action here. There's no political statement here. It's literally just 2 words that, you don't normally say. But the Codeberg folks, they've decided it's super right wing. They continue. in bold, this is a bold header: far-right forces endanger free Libra software projects. We will not be discouraged in our fight against far-right ideologies. As if someone's sending a little bit of spam that said nigger balls was going to be like, oh my gosh, that's going to discourage me from my fight against anything. I don't know what that... I don't know anyone who decides that they're going to do or not do anything because of that message. It's just an annoying message. They are currently on the rise in many parts of the world, and we believe it is important to protect all kinds of marginalized groups. People who don't have balls? I don't know. However, if you believe this does not affect your project, you are wrong. Far-right forces pose a threat to all of us. I don't know that this is that big of a threat. It wasn't even a hack. It wasn't like a hack of the system. Someone just went into their ticketing system and just tagged a bunch of people in a really stupid, really juvenile message. That's what just happened. I don't know that there's a hack. I don't know that there's any big threat. I don't know. This is just what happened, right? It's annoying. I think you can safely say, if Codeberg had come out with a statement, annoying bit of spam happened, we'll try and make it so we tweak our settings on our ticketing system so that doesn't happen anymore. I'd be like, yeah, hey, that's a reasonable response. Anyway, I continue. Extreme right forces actively target members of our community and discriminate based on ethnicity and gender, political background, sexual orientation, disabilities, nationality, and faith. Okay. So Codeberg has not provided proof of any of those things. The only bit of thing that I've been able to suss out at all was the one bit of spam that I've read you several times now. That was the only thing. Does that involve faith? No. Sexual orientation? I don't think so. Political background? No. Gender? No, certainly not gender. I mean, you can make a claim that by usage of one of those words, ethnicity was brought into the play, but that's about it. I don't know where the rest of this stuff comes from. I mean, because it's a stretch all by itself. I continue. However, diversity is an important asset in free Libra software communities, and it is what makes our software great and development productive. By targeting some of our most active translators, nicest designers, best developers, and all other motivated contributors, they are hurting the free Libra software ecosystem as a whole. Nicest designers. Guys, do not target the nice designers. Those are the nicest designers. I don't know why they included that. Don't be fooled if right-wing forces promise to promote open source in their political agenda. This has nothing to do with the values of our movement. This is about national patriotism and protectionism, and they will happily accept splitting our community on their way. Okay. Sure. Let's together stay strong and united against these emerging threats. We stay strong against discrimination of all kind, including but not limited to sexism, transphobia, homophobia, racism, anti-Semitism, and ableism. And we hope that you all join us for this mission. Look, it was a very juvenile message. I don't know that any of this stuff gets brought into it, but quote, if you ever considered supporting the fight against right-wing forces, now might be the best time to move ahead. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I should also point out that Codeberg was recently at an event called FOSDEM. Right, it's a big open source free software conference that happens over in Europe. While they were there, they took the opportunity to take a picture to promote themselves with a gentleman named Drew DeVault. Drew DeVault is a collector and distributor and publisher of child pornography who has recently gone on multiple tirade attacks against people like Richard Stallman, the Free Software Foundation, and more. And this is Codeberg, after all that stuff happened, going, yeah, thumbs up, Drew DeVault. So, yeah. Codeberg went over onto Mastodon to exclaim this: we stay strong against hate and hatred, and in response to the recent abuse campaign on our platform. Again, it just said nigger balls. We have renewed our commitment to fight for a better world. We apologize to everyone who was greeted with an abusive message this morning. Thanks for all your kind words of support. Stay safe. Hashtag hate online, hashtag right-wing trolls. Again, I don't know that there's any evidence to suggest that anything here was right or left wing. It sounds like someone was just, being juvenile and ridiculous. So I sent an email to Codeberg. I sent over a Mastodon post to Codeberg, and I asked, what led you to believe that these spam attacks were from far-right forces? They repeatedly, over and over again, far-right forces, right-wing forces, like there's these forces that are just coming after him, right? Why? What led them to believe that? Well, did they get some private message that they've been keeping from the public that says, hey, I'm gonna say the phrase nigger balls in support of my right-wing force campaign to make you stop being a left-winger? Is that something that happened? It sounds crazy to me, but hey, maybe they have information that I don't. So I also asked if they had any concerns that some of their anti-right-wing statements in the blog post would divide their user base. Considering 50% or more, depending on where you live, of people would identify themselves as, right of center, right? Do they really want to be dividing not just their community, but they seem to be encouraging other people and other open source projects to do the same? Is that really what they want to do? Some thoughts here, just a few thoughts. There is, and I want to repeat this, there is no indication of who is responsible for these spam attacks. There was no hack. It looked to be like it was kind of a juvenile prank. It was not cool. It was not cool. I don't recommend doing that. Anyone who was out there doing that, don't do that. That wasn't cool. Don't do that. I don't really care if you're left wing, right wing, center wing, up wing, down wing, whatever. Just don't do that. That was weird and not cool. The response from Codeberg based on this not only didn't make a lot of sense, but it was hateful. It was divisive. It was stupid. The spam attack had 2 words in it. I don't know that you could really say that the spam attack was a divisive statement. It was just juvenile and a bit obscene and would get you a PG rating on on a movie, right? It wasn't maybe someone would be upset that you said those things, but it's not necessarily like some sort of a call to violence. It's not a divisive statement, right? Whereas what Codeberg did was kind of a call to violence. They stopped just short of saying go out and punch a right winger, right? Like it was anti right wing forces, and basically they were just bad mouthing and vilifying people, and it didn't really seem like there was a good reason for that. That was pretty stupid of them. That was a stupid thing to do, but. And I think this is important. It was pretty par for the course of the extreme leftists in tech organizations, right? We're seeing this over and over again where they take almost whatever excuse they can come up with. Like someone saying these 2 words that weren't left wing or right wing, they were just 2 stupid words, and using that as a rallying cry to let's attack anyone who's conservative. Let's hurt someone who's right wing. Let's go after them. Let's alienate them. Let's push them away from our platform. Let's ban them. Let's commit purges and cleansings. And we see this time and time again. How many have we reported on here at the Lunduke Journal over the last, year or so of Linux projects and game engines and programming languages and source repository systems? Like, it's on and on and on. And so this is really par for the course. It's stupid. It's real stupid. It's short-sighted. They're basically just hurting themselves. I don't see how this encourages a wide, diverse range of intellectually diverse people to go, oh, you know what? I'm going to host my stuff over on Codeberg because they're sane and rational. Like, I just don't see that happening. So it is, I feel bad for them because clearly the folks at Codeberg are kind of caught up in some sort of crazed frenzy, this extreme leftist frenzy where they look out and they see anything that they don't love, and it's behind that tree, behind that bush, underneath that rock, it's an evil conservative that must be driven into the sea and murdered. Like it's like, wow, what a way to live, man. What a way to live. But it is kind of par for the course. I would love to see within these organizations folks who are traditionally politically leftist come out and say, stop being so stupid, right? Stop being stupid, the folks at Codeberg or any of these other organizations we're talking about. What amazes me is that we don't see that. You know, whenever we see people acting out on the political right, you immediately see other people on the political right saying, whoa, knock it off, right? Like, for example, let's take a hypothetical here. Let's say that this spam attack, this bit of spam, was a political assault, right? Let's say that they followed up with those two naughty words with a political diatribe about being conservative or something, right? I would be on here right now going, whoa, dude, don't do that. Yeah. I don't associate with that dude. Like that dude needs to knock it off. He needs to apologize and not do that anymore, because we don't act like that. We don't act like friggin' juvenile, naughty, vulgar children. We don't do that, right? Simple, real easy. And it doesn't really, one person or even one group doesn't necessarily reflect poorly upon, their actions don't reflect poorly upon everyone who might tangentially agree with their politics, right? I don't understand why people on the left can't come out and do that here, right? Because what the Codeberg folks are doing here is inciting hate, inciting violence, encouraging hatred and divisiveness. And yet you don't see people on the left going, that's gross. Back it up a little bit. Whoa. Hold on, Haas. Let's not go there. You don't see that. What you see instead is more extreme leftists and more organizations saying, yeah, that's the way. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So there you go. That's happening right now. It's nuts. If I ever hear anything back from Codeberg, I'll let you know. I don't expect to. I thought maybe they'd respond on Mastodon or via email or something, but as of yet, I haven't heard anything back. But I'll let you know if I do. And thank you to all the subscribers who help make this possible. Go to lunduke.com. We publish these shows everywhere. Locals, Rumble, X, YouTube, Facebook, Patreon. There's an RSS feed for the audio podcast. It's on iTunes and Spotify and Substack and Fountain. And you can even download MP4 files. It's all over the place. And you can support us a bunch of places too. Go to lunduke.com. Lots of options there. We couldn't do this without you. No ads, no big tech support, no big tech influence. No tech organization can tell Lunduke what to talk about and what to cover or what not to cover. And that's pretty cool. And that's all thanks to all of you. I couldn't do this without you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across this glorious intertube of ours, I do declare, end broadcast.